Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. And real quick, I just have a real quick announcement and then we'll move into things. But I have actually been in contact with a member of the AMC Food and Beverage Department. And they'd asked me if I would like to check out some of their popcorn buckets that they do for their movies. And so I've been given the opportunity to do a review on the new Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popcorn bucket, which I have sitting off camera right there. I'm hoping you get a little ASMR off of that. I don't know. You might. Maybe you do. Maybe. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is after this review, I am going to have the opportunity to check out this new popcorn bucket. So I won't be doing it anytime right now. I'm just going to wait till this review is over. So I'll let you know, hey, review over. If you want to stick around, stick around. If not, go on, and so forth. Okay, so let's get into it, shall we? Here in just a bit, I am off to check out the new movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So in this film, Sonic is not just up against good old Dr. Robotnik, played by Jim Carrey. He also has to fight Shadow the Hedgehog, voiced by Keanu Reeves. And of course, other talent is back, like Ben Schwartz is back as Sonic the Hedgehog, and Idris Elba is also coming back as Knuckles. And by the way, guys, I just finished watching the Knuckles miniseries on Paramount Plus, and thumbs up. What a weird, funny little show that was. And I'm really hoping that this movie has that same just off-the-wall, weird humor coming to it, because I really liked where things were going with Knuckles. But you know what? I'm not talking about Knuckles. I'm talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And I am so stoked to check this movie out. And I'm also really excited about how good all of the Sonic films have been. I myself am a big old Sega kid. I was one of the fortunate few kids here in the States who grew up with a Sega Master System, and then I had a Sega Genesis, Sega Saturn, and a Sega Dreamcast, and then an Xbox, because that seemed to be the natural transition. Well, you know what, guys? Enough of me sitting here yammering on about how much I love Sega, their products, and Sonic the Hedgehog. It is time for me to get out the door, because it's time to go check out Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Welcome back. Just getting home from seeing Sonic the Hedgehog 3, and guys, I had an absolute blast watching this movie. It captured my inner teenager, and I had so much fun. I cannot believe that the little game that I bought back in 1990 something, I think it was 1990, when I first got my Sega Genesis, it came with Altered Beast. I got the Gen 1 one, Sega Genesis, so I didn't play Sonic until it came out later, and I picked it up at the store. I went to a local game shop called Game Co, and I bought Sonic the Hedgehog. And little did I know that this little game, bragging about something called blast processing, was going to turn into such a big phenomenon 30 some years later. But here we are. So let's get this started, shall we? We're going to get things started with negatives, then move into the positives to end the video on the ever so important high note. Now, these movies do have humans in them. Now, you might not know that by watching the trailer trailers and all, but Sonic does have, I guess you could say, parents. They're the two humans that took him and Tails and Knuckles in and are basically raising them like kids, I guess you could say. There's a very strange family dynamic with those two, or those five. And I think that that's what's kind of holding these movies back just a little bit. They don't really know what to do with the human characters. In the first film, it kind of made sense to have the humans helping guide everything along. But now that we have more characters in the Sonic world, it doesn't really seem like those human characters necessarily matter, and they don't necessarily need to be there. And they do pull them into this film for just a small little scene, and again, it didn't need to be there. And I do believe that this franchise will be going further, and I do think that moving forward, I think that we'll see those human beings a lot less in this movie, so sorry about that. It looks like the anamorphic CGI characters are going to be taking the reins from here on out, which honestly, the second film should have already started that, and by this movie, it should just be totally our good Sonic friends. You know, Team Sonic should really be the only ones that we focus on, and this movie does do that, and bringing in the human characters, even though that it's supposed to bring in this grounding family feel to it, which worked for the first movie, and it worked a little bit for the second movie. By this point, they're trying to build Team Sonic, and I think by having the humans there also, it kind of drags down the team building that they're trying to do between Tails, Knuckles, and Sonic. But other than that, to be perfectly honest, I absolutely loved this movie. Now again, the humor's not for everybody. There were plenty of jokes that did not land, and you could tell that they were jokes that were supposed to be hysterical. And yeah, you could kind of hear a pin drop in the theater. So not every one of the one-liners and snappy, witty dialogue does land with the audiences, but all in all, this film was a lot of fun. It had great action and great acting. So let's move into the positive, shall we? Let's start off with that CGI. Now, I am a person, admittedly, who will bitch and complain nonstop about CGI. But in a situation like a movie like this, there's no way to really avoid it whatsoever. So thankfully, it looks very, very good. And here we are again. I cannot believe that a movie about an anamorphic, high-speed hedgehog had better CGI than Gladiator 2. But here we are. I really loved the textures. That's kind of where I'm going with CGI and all, and the movement. The movement of our characters looked great. It looked natural. It looked like these characters were more claymation than they actually were CGI. Because my big complaint with CGI is that the characters don't feel like they have heft or weight. But in this film, they really do. They feel like they're actually there and part of the scenery. The acting is also great. All of our voice talent do outstanding jobs. Of course, Ben Schwartz as Sonic does another outstanding job. Idris Elba's back as Knuckles, very good. Colleen O'Shaughnessy, I hope I got that right. Well, Colleen does the voice of Tails, and she has pretty much been the voice of Tails since day one, to the best of my knowledge. I think she's not just the Tails voice actor from the anime and all of the animated adventures of Sonic, but I do believe she provides the voice of Tails in the games themselves. So she again comes back, does an outstanding job, and she is a voice actor that has a lot of credential, a lot of experience behind her. Go ahead and try to find a cartoon when you turn on TV and not see her name attached to it somewhere in the credits. But newcomer Keanu Reeves, how was he as a anamorphic CGI hedgehog named Shadow? I loved him. Absolutely loved him as Shadow. He really delivered also. Like, you would have thought that Keanu Reeves was delivering freaking Shakespeare. This man put real acting behind every bit of dialogue. Every line that he delivered had so much oomph and meaning behind it. I don't think he is an actor who has done a lot of voice acting. At least I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I cannot remember if he was part of the the Animatrix, or if he did voice acting in one of the video games for the Matrix or something. But all in all, I don't think that he's really done a lot of voice acting and really knocked it out of the ballpark in this film. I mean, to the point where I really don't want anyone else to play the character Shadow again. Just like Ben Schwartz playing, Sonic. Those two just nailed these parts, or Idris Elba, Knuckles for that matter. All of these actors just really make these characters their own and bring their own personalities and all to these characters, and I think that's wonderful. Everyone in this film shows up and they do not just cash a paycheck. I know going into this movie, Jim Carrey was quoted in saying, as someone brought up, "Hey, I thought you were retiring from acting." And his response was, "Yeah, I thought so too, but I bought a lot of stuff and I need to make some money now." And why that might be true, this is also Jim Carrey we're talking about, so he was probably telling a joke. Because let's just say, this man does not phone it in. And he is not just playing one character in this movie, he's also playing two. He's playing Grandpa Robotnik. He's playing his own grandfather in this film. Two characters for the price of one. And he owns it. And also the effects of him being on screen with himself looked amazing and flawless. There was an entire dance sequence between the two Jim Carreys, and it was outstanding. It was so well done. This movie is so much fun from beginning to end. This is a definite take the kids, enjoy this movie. Maybe you're fans of Sonic the Hedgehog, maybe you're not, but this is a definite get out there and see it in theaters. I saw this in the Prime Theater at AMC movie theaters, and it's one of those really big screens with the huge surround sound and all, and I highly recommend seeing this movie because the sound design, the soundtrack, the animation, everything looks so good. And if you are a big fan, believe me, you're gonna want to see the ending of this film on the big screen, just so you can take all of the beautiful CGI goodness in. Guys, I really had fun with this movie. This is a solid, get out there, see this in theaters. There's plenty of fan service also. There's lots of little Easter eggs for all of you out there to look for. So all of the hardcore Sonic fans of not just the games, but also the anime series, look for stuff, listen for things. They're there, trust me. All right, guys, well, there you go. That is our review of Sonic the Hedgehog 3, a definite solid recommendation from the Film Geek to get out there and see this movie. And I was fortunate enough to go to the fan event, so I've got swag, and I figured that I would show off that swag once I got into the popcorn bucket portion of my video. So if you do not care about the Sonic the Hedgehog AMC exclusive bucket, then you don't need to stick around, because this is the end of the actual Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Check this film out, you're gonna like it. It doesn't matter if you're a fan of the whole franchise. You do need to see the other movies. I do want to recommend that. See those. Oh, I thought I was going to drop my beer off. See those other movies. Check this film out. And if you really, really enjoy the movies, check out the Knuckles miniseries on Paramount Plus, because I had a blast with it. Well, all right, guys. Thank you very much. And now let's move into the unboxing of the popcorn box, or popcorn container. Popcorn thingamajigger. Vessel. Popcorn vessel. We're here for the nuclear vessels. Okay, here we go. I guess it's not necessarily an unboxing. It's more of an unbagging, because it came in this plastic bag. But check it out. It's Sonic. It is Sonic's head. Now, AMC did put out two different buckets. I don't think the other one is an AMC exclusive. I could be wrong. But this one I do know is exclusive to AMC, and it's just pretty awesome, isn't it? I mean, it's Sonic's head, yes, and that's pretty much the draw of the entire thing, is that it's Sonic. And, to be perfectly honest, I don't feel like this is necessarily a use popcorn bucket. I mean, I'm not saying that you're not going to use it. Who am I to say what you use as a popcorn bucket? But it's more of a put it on the shelf and look at it kind of popcorn bucket, in my opinion. AMC does have a more functional popcorn bucket that you can pick up also. And I believe that one, I don't know if it comes with a cup or not, but it does come with popcorn. And that's something else too, is that when you buy these popcorn buckets, they also come with a large popcorn. If you also have a drink that comes with it, so on and so forth. So, you know, if you're already buying popcorn and a drink, I'm not quite sure how much more these are, so look into it, but I doubt it's that much more to just go ahead and throw another 10, 20 bucks on there if you're a big fan. So when you're leaving, check these out. So as you can see, it's Sonic and it's encased in Sonicness. How do you eat the popcorn? Well, right here on top of his head, there's an opening, and it's like a little Sonic the Hedgehog yarmulke on him right there, you know? It's shalom, you know? Mazel tov, it's Sonic the Hedgehog. But this is a really cool little bucket. I mean, yeah, it's Sonic, it's his head. You could use it. It definitely does have the ability to be a functional bucket, but I don't recommend it because, you know, it's going to get buttery and stuff in there, and I don't know how easy it would be to clean this thing out, in all honesty. Now, and it also feels really solid, to be perfectly honest. You know, I mean, I'm sure that after a while, if you're using this as a real popcorn thing, his old yarmulke might come off here at some point. But right now, it feels quite sturdy. It's holding, there you go, see? It's holding on quite well as I give it a dangle test here. I mean, like I said, this plastic does not feel cheap. This is nice, strong, solid plastic, as you can hear. I mean, look at ASMR. Sonic's head. Knocking of Sonic's head. But yeah, it's very solid, well craftsman, you know. It looks great, doesn't it? I mean, it's just Sonic's head. And that's all I really have to say about it. I don't know how much more to review on this. Except that I think it's super cool, and it's honestly going to be sitting right back there once the holidays are over. Sonic the Hedgehog will officially be part of the background of the Film Geek. And I don't think I'm going to put all of the popcorn buckets I review, but I mean, in all honesty, guys, if you're a fan of Sonic, you love the movies, you love the games, don't you want a popcorn bucket to commemorate your time you had with friends and family seeing Sonic the Hedgehog? I mean, who doesn't want that? Now, this is cool too. I just want to show this off real quick. I got this at the fan event. They gave me a little, it's a Tails keychain. It's pretty cool. They had all the characters, and I went with Tails because I really love Tails. I always have. Back when I was in college, my roommate and I really got into the racing part of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and I always chose Tails. I swore up and down that he was faster. I don't think he was, but still. Look at that. Nice little keychain there. That soft, rubbery style, and on the back it says Sonic the Hedgehog 3. What a cool little thing. I also have a poster that I picked up too. It was just it's a theater card. Anybody could pick them up, so you might see them at your theater also. It's got Shadow on it and a bunch of Japanese characters on it and everything. It looks really cool. I just left it on a table over on the other side of the room, and I'm not going to go stand up and get it. All right? You'll see it. You'll see it. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Got that for free at the fan event. Really fun. Look for those also if you're a big fan and you see it coming to town. I'm not sure all of the theater companies that do the fan events. I just know that AMC does, so go to them. You get cool stuff. I've gotten pins, swag, all sorts of neat stuff. So there you have it, guys. The Sonic the Hedgehog popcorn bucket. And you know what? I have a feeling these are going to go fast. See what I did there? I incorporated Sonic's catchphrase into the ending of my video. All right, guys, well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you stuck around for the review of the bucket, I appreciate you, because that just means I might get more popcorn buckets to look at, right? Thanks again for checking out the Film Geek. If you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you could do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna. Now, if you're somebody that just noticed that there's a little bit of time left to this video, even though the credits have rolled, good eye, because guess what? That happens in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. There's a mid-credit scene. They do this really fun little animated ending, and then right after that, there's a little bit of a something for everybody. And then after the actual credits, there's a little something. So if you were a fan that stuck around to see what after-credit scene I had in store for you, now you know. And you know what, guys?